started, and we are going to be speaking all about ideas that you can practice at home over the upcoming Easter break that don't require you to spend a lot of money or travel very far from your house.
Yep.
And joining us for this discussion, we have Ann Palacio, who is an educator and an educational consultant who's been on our show before. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, guys. Good morning, Marlene. Good morning, Gavin. I am feeling Easterly.
So are we.
Yeah.
And
This is good. This is good.
yeah. So apart from hoping that the rain doesn't come down this weekend,
And the cold front.
and
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there's
even if
supposed
that
to be a cold front too.
Yeah.
Yep. But even if that happens, we'll find a way to enjoy the Easter break, which is what we're here to talk about this morning, right?
Exactly. I'm glad to be here this morning, and because of what we're going through with COVID, of course, we're figuring out ways of how we can have a nice Easter and be at home. Some of the activities depend on the ages of your children. I have had some parents who are potentially going to be parents. And one of the things they had asked me, because I have seminars during all through COVID, I've had online seminars. Many parents are in such a panic of what's going on. One of them said, "Well, Miss, you're talking about children who are already here. How about children who are in the tummy?" And I said, "That's perfect. You could exercise with them, do your exercise, talk with them, play music with them, because kids love music in your tummy. They love it." So even those potential mothers to be have things to do too. And so, as I said, it depends on the ages of your children. You could start off, first of all, children love to color and they love to paint. And Easter is the perfect time for it because Easter is colorful. It's yellow, it's purple, it's green, it's all magical and like rainbow colors during Easter time. So get them to color, get them to paint, and get them to mess up, especially young ones. I know there are lots of parents who are saying, "Oh, they're going to be messy," and they're going to let the kids be kids. You know what I like about COVID? The only thing I like about COVID is that it brings the family together, whether you want it or want it not. It lets you become very tolerant, whether you want it or want it not.
Yeah.
And it lets you be honest to yourself that you can't be restricted anymore. There's certain things like having fun with your children that I know many parents didn't even have time to because they were out working 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Most people live outside of the city. They didn't have time. By the time they get home, it's time to eat and sleep.
Yeah.
So COVID has allowed us to bring us together, and this is where Easter comes in. Perfect time. The phasing of school is going to be starting soon. So this is the perfect time for you to color with your kids, paint with your kids, and everything you do, please save it. What you can do is get the clear adhesive tape, and then you could tape it right over all the work that you have done. Well, of course, after the paint has dried, and then put it either in your living room or in the child's bedroom, depending on where the child wanted to be, so you can have remembrance of what you're doing. Also, you can also think of Easter baskets that you can make together from simple things that you could find around your house. You can also find things like, for example, cooking. Some kids love to cook from they're very young, they love to cook. Let them be a part of that. I wasn't a cooking girl, but let them be a part of that section for you. For example, whatever you cook, you can take that outside for the outside activities. So if you're making either icicles or popsicles, or you're making frozen cups, you're making pastries, those things can be taken outside because you have indoor and you have outdoor activities. Then you can have what we call camped in. You could actually throw some sheets on the ground with some blankets, with some pillows, and you can actually have you take off all the lights. If you're going to use candles, be careful with those, but I would prefer you use flashlights and have the flashlight stand up around you. And then it's like light glowing at night, and you could actually read together or watch some nice movies together, right?
Yeah.
And then you could also make some nice crafts. Crafts are always a bonding time for families, especially kids. You can have the eggs. You can make them. You can boil them, and you can color paint them, Or you can actually have it's 25 cents for Bristol board. Get a Bristol board, cut out the eggs, you and your kids together, and you can actually paint them and let them paint them how they want it to be painted. You don't
Not how you think it should look.
exactly, exactly. You know, because it's their time. It's their
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So I think that's some of the things you can do indoors.
Okay.
Yep. Now, as we're talking, I think these are a bunch of great ideas. And, a lot of people watching are probably thinking, this COVID has also meant it's also been a difficult time financially for a lot of families. So, a lot of people are thinking budget. How am I gonna? Because a lot of people are on any holiday really, whether it's Easter, whether it's Christmas, they always think like, how am I gonna buy something, or do I have to buy something new and fancy or something? We see these pretty Easter baskets in the supermarket and stuff. But what advice do you have for the parents who want to be budget conscious?
Well, first of all, I think it's a natural thing for us to think that we used to just go out and buy baskets or we order it. We have to recognize now that we have to look at what we're doing now with our money wise, and you don't really have to buy anything. You could just be conservative and look at what you could afford. I've always been giving my kids baskets. Up to now, they're mostly all adults. And they're like, Mom, what are we going to give you for baskets? Well, what I do is give them broom and mop because it's about cleaning time. They're like, Mom, are you kidding me? It's like, no, I'm not. It's not about eggs anymore. It's about getting the place clean. So it depends on what you want for your budget, because then you can't afford to go buy $50, $75 worth of a basket now. That's ridiculous. But what you look at the small little things that you can look at the shops around you, the big grocery stores, and I'm always looking at bottom dollar, some of the public store. There are some stores that you could look at that are on sale for different little goodies that you can put in those baskets. And then also we're looking at being healthy. The virus has taught us a lot about keeping healthy. So in those baskets, look for healthy things. Like part of the outside activities is gardening. I was never one for garden. I don't do gardening. These fingernails shouldn't get dirty. But COVID has taught me, girl, you better humble yourself. You better go garden. And so all those things that you look at and you made in your garden, like sweet pepper, lime, all those things that you have grown together as a family, and you can start if you haven't, those things could be a part of your package too. And you don't have to go to the store and go buy it. You don't have to go to the market or anything. It's right there in your backyard. And you can put those in as a part of your package for your kids also. And then it's reusable because you can use them when you cook. So again, you're doing the bonding thing. And then of course, the swimming pool. Listen, COVID has taught me one thing. Go back to childhood, old school. You not got no blow pool, get your bath pan. Nothing wrong with that. Nobody not care right now what's going on. Fill it up. If you have the swimming pool that you can blow, that's fine, blow it up. But you have the bath pan that we had in the olden days, fill it up and you jump in there. With the swimming pool, the blow-up swimming pool, you have more time to play. You have to throw balls at each other, and it helps with your motor skills. It helps with your muscle skills when you're flopping around in the pool. It also helps with bonding time. All those things that you cooked inside, you can bring outside for the family to enjoy. And then again, it goes right back to old school. When last did you play hopscotch? When last did you play freeze catch? When last did you play run over? As a matter of fact, do some of you even know what those games are?
That is true.
When last did that's how we were brought up. Bike riding. If you have bikes, go ride with your kids. Remember when you used to be on the wagon thing and they used to pull you? I remember that. They pull you all around the street. And if you're in a community where it's very safe, like for example, where we live, it's a dead-end street, so you can see when cars come in, so it'll be safe for your kids to be pulling along the street side, and it will be safe. Then, of course, the famous Easter egg hunting and scavenger hunt. You could even put that into a game where you can play by points. How many eggs you find, how many little beaties things you find, little sweets that you find around the house. And you could also use that educational because one, you're using going by points, so they're adding, and two, you're giving them clues, so they use their critical thinking skill to find where these eggs and these wherever you put around the house, and you could put them inside and outside. And then be fair, because if you have kids that are of different ages, you cannot put those words and those clues in a way where it's going to be difficult for one. Because a 5-year-old, you can't use the same thing for a 12-year-old. So you're going to have to make the clues very reasonable for those ages of children. And of course, again, COVID is all about loving and taking care of each other. Maybe those Easter baskets that you made with your kids, just in your neighborhood. You don't have to go far because, of course, of physical distancing, but you can put some of those together to give out to the people in your neighborhood, which is going to bring some type of love and camaraderie with those in your neighborhood.
And I like also the idea that you brought up earlier about crafts, because we can also think about the idea of, again, going back to the idea of being budget conscious, repurposing sort of household items. Also, we think about common things that are around Easter time. A lot of kids are going to be making kites, and they just make those out of. Sometimes you can even use plastic bags and little sticks and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly, and that's what I'm always telling my parents, that you have to. Now is a time for us to be resilient, yes, but also we have to learn to be conservative. If you have never, because I'm not good with money, to be very honest, but COVID has taught me, girl, you better get with it again. So it also taught us that how we can budget, what we can do to budget, and not to go over our budget. Once we say this is what we're going to be doing for the month, this is what we'll be doing for the month. If we say, and many, because parents I have had a couple seminars before this, with parents who are just, they're used to having their children going to resorts. Miss Annie, how am I going to explain to them? Show them the bills.
Yeah.
Show them the bills. Those who are teachers, there were a couple teachers who were in that seminar with me. I said, take out the 10% count. What do you get? Show it to them. Let them understand that it's not that you don't want to go, because my kids are used to going to resort. As a matter of fact, I'm used to flying out. But I have to realize now that I can't do those things that I used to do because of the stringent measures that we have to take now in this COVID situation.
I think that's such a key point, because a part of these activities, it's to ensure that you help the children cope with the disappointment, especially when you're accustomed to whether it's going to the Keys or doing day trips, or maybe you had fancy Easter vacations and mom and dad or just can't afford it. So talking to them and still ensuring that Easter is a fun time, even though it may be very different.
Exactly. And even you can do there are lots, besides those lots of fun things. You have these kids, the kids who have on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Twitch, all these different social media. What you can do is that be a part of it. Like my daughter was doing a video,
the TikTok
on
dances.
Instagram. Yes, and I started dancing with her, and she's like, "Mom," I was like, and then she was like, "Oh, Mom, this sounds good. This is good. Just have a little dance off. I grew up in the 60s, 70s. Okay, let's do these things in the what we did in the 70s. Let's go. Let's dance. And then you do what was happening in the 2000s, and let's do a dance off. I mean, these things are fun with your kids. They're free. You don't really have to worry about paying for anything, and you're bonding with your children, which is so important, and you're making them smile every day. A smile every day takes away the stress of what's going on right now. And then also let them journal. Let them journal their events for Easter. I remember when I was in the classroom so many years ago, and even when I was a principal, I used to go around and ask my teachers, what about creative writing about you going back to school? What did you do during your Easter holiday, your summer holiday, your Christmas holiday? And many of the teachers would come and say, Miss Annie, they can't write anything because they didn't have anything. They didn't do anything. They had to work. They had to do whatever they can. Parents couldn't afford it. So like this right now, you could journal it. And this could also help with their English background, because of the social media thing, they're not writing English properly. So again, this can be also an educational time for them, where they're journaling their time with their family, they're enjoying their Easter holiday, and when they go back into school, they could actually have an essay to write about what their Easter holiday looked like. And besides all of that, at the end of it, like for example, Easter Sunday, for those of us who are Christians, Easter Sunday is a gathering family time. The Christ is risen. We're feeling happy. We're feeling good. Have a Zoom call. That's the way of doing things now. Zoom call with the family. Send a Zoom link to the family all over, wherever they are, whether they're in this country, whether they're outside of this country, wherever they are. Send a Zoom link and tell them Easter Sunday at 12 o'clock, 12 in the afternoon, while we're having dinner, before we have lunch, let's all meet, let's talk, and let's talk about what we're grateful thankful for during this time. And that's another way of bonding with our family and friends who are maybe far away from us.
All right. Well, Annie, we appreciate so much you being able to share some of these ideas with us. It has
You're
been, we have to be really honest about where we are at this time. And so some families will have to figure out ways to stay at home with the kids and keep it fun. And I can see, once crafts are involved, that's fun.
That is
Water, if it's the hose, that's fun.
Yes,
These are
fun.
little things that we can do.
Exactly.
Once the parents aren't scared of getting the kids dirty a bit and ensuring that they have a great time. But
That's
thank
right.
you.
You're most welcome.
All right, stay safe. And with
You
that,
too.
we are going to go ahead and take our final break. And when we come back, we'll have our wrap up. So stay tuned.